Hey guys, this is Emerald Fire, and today I'm going to explain a little bit about Redstone and what it has to do with command blocks, specifically sequencing command blocks. You may want to execute a certain number of commands in an exact order. For example, command 1, then command 2, then command 3, etc. And to represent this, I have a bunch of command blocks. Each of these lines does the same thing, essentially, but I have say 1, say 2, say 3. So that will put those commands in my chat. It'll just say the numbers, and so we can tell what order they are being executed in. You may think that a command block line like this could execute the commands in order, because the redstone will first get to this command block, and then this one, and then this one, and so it should come out in a nice sequential order. But that's not the case. What actually happens is it's in a pretty random order. You can see 2's all the way at the end, 4's close to there, 7's in the middle. It's not good for making sequential command blocks. And even if you have them spread out like this, with one bit of redstone in between each one, you're gonna get pretty much the same result, with random order commands executed. The way you might fix something like this is by using repeaters, and I'll come back to that in a second. But this line, that way each command block would be executed one tick after the next, and it is true that that would fix your problem, but it's kind of slow, because it's one tick per command. If you have a lot of commands you need to execute, that's going to take a while. You can actually make it twice as fast by using intermittent repeaters and redstone dusts, and still keep it in sequential order. Now, yes, okay, just making sure about something. I'll explain in a minute, but as you see, it's twice as fast and still in sequential order. And I forgot to explain what those lines mean. Those lines are drawn every tick by some command blocks over here. Their job is just to say the line every tick. So that way we can gauge how fast these things are going. So this one you can see one number every tick. This one is 2 numbers every tick. But why does this always stay in sequence? You can see 7's after 6, 5's after 4. That's what I'm going to explain right now. See, the way these are determined, the order in which they are executed, are the order they are put onto a list. Well, how do they get put onto the list? Let me tell you. Every game tick, all of the redstone updates are calculated. So if I press this button, it will update the redstone status of this command block and this redstone dust and all that redstone dust and all these command blocks. All of their redstone statuses will get updated, and that all happens within the same game tick. At the end of the game tick, that list of updates is acted on. So all of this redstone will change state and all of the commands will be executed. However, because these were all added to the list at about the same time, it could add them in at any order. Almost any order. I mean, for example, it'll add this redstone to the list first, because this command block acts on this redstone alone, but this redstone acts on this command block and this redstone up here. So whichever one it wants to add first is up to the game, and can be no real decision. The game will do the same thing pretty much every time, but there's no way for the player to know which one is going to happen without trying it, and that's not very efficient for building. For example, if you see, I'll press this, 3 will be executed first. If I press it again, it's going to be the same order every time. But there's no way the player could know without trying. So then this redstone could add this command block or this redstone, and so on and so forth, but all of them will get added to the list. The same thing happens over here, because even though they are separated, this redstone can act on this redstone or this command block, and this will act on this, but then this can act on this or this, and it can go down in any order. And all of this happens within one game tick. Now, the reason why this is sequential, or you know what, let me come over here. Why this is sequential is because one game tick is faster than a redstone tick. In fact, 2 game ticks are exactly as fast as 1 redstone tick. So every time a repeater changes state, that was 2 game ticks after the redstone behind it was updated. So let me just quickly show you what I mean. So if I place down this torch right now, then it will update this repeater's redstone state in that same game tick, but it won't be acted upon until 2 game ticks later. And that is what causes redstone tick delay. However, all these command blocks don't have any redstone delay, so if you were to activate this redstone here, it would power this command block in the same game tick, and it would add it to the list because after this redstone, because it's directly after it. And then at the end of that game tick, this command block would execute its command, and then another game tick after that, this repeater would change its state, and then in that same game tick it would update this command block, and then 1 redstone tick would do this, and so forth. So that's why that does it. And then if we look at this redstone adds this to the list first. There's nothing else it could add to the list before it. And then after that, this repeater will add this one to the list, and because there's a delay, there's no way it could add it before. And then it will progress down the line. There's no fork in the road. There's no way anything could add this before this, because it's going straight down in a line. But here's the thing about this. These repeaters are not technically necessary for sequential command blocks. If there was some way that redstone could power redstone on the other side of the command block, like through the command block, like this powers this, which powers redstone dust on the other side, then all of it would get added to the list in exact order. But that's not possible, unfortunately, so that's why we have to use repeaters. However, in 1.7 we got a nifty new set block command, and while this isn't the typical use for it, I found a way that can make this twice as fast as this. So if you break this down, every game tick it adds 2 command blocks. I mean every redstone tick it adds 2 command blocks, because these 2 are added, then 1 redstone tick, then these 2 are added, and so forth. But this adds 2 command blocks every game tick, not redstone tick, so it is twice as fast as that line over there. And the way this does it is by powering, well, first off you press this button and it sets a powered repeater right here. And the powered repeater does not have to take the redstone delay to get powered because it's already powered. So it then immediately transfers its power to this command block and through to this redstone. And it does add it in the list in that order because unlike redstone dust, repeaters power directly through the command block. So this is added to the list, command 1, then this is added to the list, and then these 3 are added to the list in whatever the order the game decides, but that's not important, because this is the second command, and then this removes the powered repeater from over here, and this sets the powered repeater in the next line. And because there's only redstone acting on this, it all happens within the same game tick. So, for example, if I were to press this button, it would set a repeater here, and it would execute these commands, and then, it would put these commands in the list, and then 1 game tick later, it would set a repeater here, put another 2 commands in the list, and then on the second game tick, it would put the repeater here. So in total of 2 game ticks, which is 1 redstone tick, it has executed 4 commands. And let me show you this in practice. I'll press this button and the tick lines will be drawn like so. As you can see, commands 1 and 2 were done on the first game tick, and then the first line was drawn for the first redstone tick. That just happens to be what order this was in, and then after that it is evident that it's 4 commands per tick, because the next game tick after that was 3 and 4, then the next game tick was 5 and 6, and then because 2 game ticks had passed, the repeater had been updated, and another line was drawn for the tick counter. And that went all the way up to 14. I have 7 of these little slices, and each of them does 2. And so, using this, MapMaker or whoever you are could execute commands twice as fast as that. And here is the cross-section of 2 of the slices. Each of these executes 2 commands. The reason I have them together is because I have a button on this command block whose sole purpose is redirecting this redstone away from the previous slice. So that's just the only difference in these two, and because that's there, they can be one wide and tileable. If you look on both sides, none of the command blocks are actually touching any of the other command blocks, which is pretty neat because along with being twice as fast as this, it's also twice as skinny. Well, in this chain, I mean it's also fatter in this way. But what we have here is commands 1 and 2 up here. So if you were to make one of these in your world, you could just make the base, like take one of these slices in MCEdit and just copy it down in a line, and then just walk across the top here, typing in your commands, because all these are visible from the top in order like that, and then it would do its thing. But this cross section over here, like I said, command 1, command 2, this sets the repeater in the next diamond block, this clears the repeater from the current slot, and this over here clears the repeater from this current slot. This over here sets the next repeater in the line, and so it's all nice and neat. And the reason this torch is here is because this would set the next repeater, and if it's just powered like that, it won't do it. For if I were to get rid of this and press le button, it will make a nice floating repeater right here, which we don't really need. I'll just get rid of that. But that's pretty much how that works, right? So you got the repeater here, powers the redstone, does the commands. 1 game tick later, repeater here, powers the redstone, does the commands. That equals 1 redstone tick. You've just executed 4 perfectly sequential commands in 1 redstone tick, and that's pretty cool. Depends on your definition of cool, I guess, but I think it is. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned some stuff, because I was teaching a lot. Really more of a lecture video than a tutorial. I mean, I got this thing here, but that's about it. Sorry about that edit, guys. But anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.